Welcome back to the Irish Mags Show, episode 62. And we are recording the day after Newcastle United advanced past what is now known as the Banter Club Arsenal into a Carabao Cup final, second time in 3 seasons. I'm Paul, I'm your host. As you can tell, I've got a slightly husky voice, and the reason for which are fairly obvious because I was at the game and I was one of the 50,000 people absolutely roaring the house down in what was probably the best atmosphere I've seen in St. James's Park. And I've been going there for a long time. I am pleased to say I am joined by two lads who had an even wilder time in the Baker Street bar, I'm told.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos and pictures. It is, of course, Alan and Krisho. Krisho, not to be stopped, he's drinking a pint again.
Yes, I am.
He's really, he's going to milk this one, and he's dead right. Lads, before we dive into it, listeners, we have a special treat for you on this episode. We are, of course, going to talk about this Carabao Cup. We're going to talk about our chances. While we're recording this, the other semi-final is on. It does look like it's going to be Liverpool as things go, but we're keeping an eye on that. We're going to dive into the game against Arsenal and what was a very good night for the Irish Mags as well. Before we do that, though, we have a little treat. It's a match day vlog at the request of our esteemed leader, Tev. We wanted to document the Irish Mag experience of traveling over, going through all the motions, trains, planes, automobiles, all the way over to James's Park, and what happened before, during, and after the game. Unfortunately, some of these videos are me. My voice gets worse, my humor gets better, and the drink levels are fairly standard, as you'd expect. So we'll play that for you now, listeners, and we'll be right back. Hello, Irish Mags enthusiasts and members and fans and listeners and viewers alike. It is match day. Paul Madden here. We're kicking off a bit of a match day vlog for the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg against, yes, those bastards Arsenal. We're 2-0 up from the first leg, 1 foot in the final. Here's hoping we can go and finish the job in St. James's Park, make St. James's Park an absolute fortress and as hostile as possible, and send them home packing and make our way into a second final in 3 seasons. As you can see, the sun is shining. I'm on the M6 motorway heading from Galway to Dublin. It is currently 10:33 in the morning. Flight is at 2:45 in the afternoon. There's a bunch of the Irish Mags all on the Ryanair Special Express to Newcastle, and it's sure to be an absolute hell of a day. Dreading the thought of 24 hours from now when I wake up on someone's couch. You know who you are, but hopefully it'll all be worth it. I think that we're going to go get back to winning ways at St. James's Park. We hate Arsenal, but we have their number in recent games and recent fixtures. And we all know that Mikel Arteta, Lego head, is an absolute knob. And we're going to see that this evening at St. James's Park. So we'll be checking out throughout the day. And I'll touch base with you when we hit the airport, folks. Gotta hit the red car park, quick bus in. And hopefully I'll touch base with you when I'm in the company of a few Irish Mags at the airport bar. How are the lads?
Well, good morning. 5th of February. It's 8 o'clock here in Cork, so we're just getting ready to get a bit of breakfast. Leave here in the next half an hour or so. Head for Cork Airport. We're going Cork Airport to Edinburgh. Then Edinburgh to Newcastle for the game today. We play Arsenal tonight at 8 o'clock. Give you another update in a while when I reach the airport with a few more of the lads up there.
We're here in Dublin Airport at the bar. Flight's about to go soon. Can we get a toot toot? Toot toot! Toot toot! Toot toot! Lads, who's going to go and beat Arsenal today? That was a trick question. Flight's going in about half an hour, so a few last minute points happening here, lads. We're going to go over to Connor for a quick score prediction, lads. It's all on you, Connor. Score prediction. 2-1. Barry, score prediction. Where are you? There he is. Barry, any score prediction? 1-1. Oh, we've a 1-1 here. Oh, that's ambitious, lads. John, any score prediction for today?
2-2.
2-2. Chris? There's a lot. There's a 2-1 to what? 2-1 to Arsenal. Banish that man, lads. We're gonna head.
So here we are now on part 2. We're all here at Cork Airport, just getting ready for our flight from Edinburgh with myself. And then there's all of these vagabonds. So away the lads, and we'll all be in Edinburgh soon and Newcastle tonight.
Next stop, Newcastle.
So here we are, stage 2 of our trip to Newcastle on the 5th of February for the Arsenal game. We're in Waverley train station, just waiting on the train time now to head to Newcastle. A few of them have split up and head to the Spoons. We're here with the lads in Brewdog.
We had to get our cans.
And of course we had to get our cans for the train, so we'll give you an update later on.
Away the lads! Away the lads! Away the lads!
Away the lads! Choo choo!
Irish Mags on tour. We're currently in the Canny Lad. I'm here with Barry, Ronan and Vinny. The hardcore boys, lads. We are currently, what time are we, lads? We're nearly 6 o'clock, I think.
6 o'clock.
2 hours till kick off. 5:20, loads of time for pints. Are we confident, lads? Are we getting through this tie?
Oh, we're very confident.
Fuck Arsenal, fuck Mikel Arteta. How are the lads? It's all happening.
Choo.
We'll hopefully be back to you just before the game and maybe from the stack.
So, here we are at the end of our journey. We left Cork at 8 o'clock this morning. Here we are in fucking Newcastle at 6:15 with all the lads. And we're in the stack. We left at 8 o'clock this morning from Cork and here we are at 6:25. What a day. Anthony Gordon.
Just heading into the stadium now. Absolutely buzzing. 25 minutes of kick-off. How are the lads? We're going to Wembley. Tell me, ma, I won't be home for tea. We're going to Wembley. Tell me, ma. To get my suit pleasure. Come on, the boys. Yes, boys. Oh lads, just got out of the stadium. Got out quick, there's points to be had. We're going to fucking Wembley. The place is hopping. And that was, what a fucking win. Worth every minute of all of the travel, all of the pounds, euros, pints, the whole lot. Mikel, lads, the highlight, I have to say the highlight, the song of the night, Mikel Arteta, it must be the ball. And you know what, it wasn't, it was Newcastle. Off to Wembley we go, lads, routine, doesn't matter who we get in the final, we'll beat them all. Let's talk in a while when the pints are flowing.
Well, here's your last instalment. 4-0 on the night. And I tell you, we're all here. Every single bloody one of us here. Away the boys. It started at 7 o'clock in Mayo for some. Started at 8 o'clock in Cork. And we're all here in Rosie's. Sorry, Katie O'Brien's. To sound it off. Good night.
Here we are again, lads. We didn't talk after the pints were flowing. Because by God did they flow. What a night, what a day, what a result, what a team, what a manager. Oh, I'm ropey. Currently on the train to Edinburgh. An hour and a half train, some kind of a tram or a bus to the airport in Edinburgh. And then a flight back to Dublin and the drive back to Galway. And as I said earlier on in the vlog, boys, it was worth every fucking minute. We're going to Wembley. How are the lads? See you all again. Well. I suppose I'm quite used to being on the internet at this point, lads. But usually I'm not. I'm not consuming alcohol on the internet. That's usually just kept for the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah,
I'm just glad you kept your pants on. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you won't like. I was holding my phone to an angle where you couldn't see anything below my chest, Chris.
you obviously didn't get that video at 3 o'clock in the morning. Then
I must have missed that one.
Chris, I thought you were subscribed to my OnlyFans, but anyway.
I am, but like you're not as much videos as you used to.
The good thing is, I don't think I was the drunkest one in that little collection that Tev put together for us. And I can tell you, lads, I wasn't the drunkest one in Newcastle because obviously after the match, I rocked down to meet the lads. I was doing a bit of podcast stuff with True Faith, so they had I gave them a little hour head start, because they need it when I'm around. And by Jesus, they used that hour well, because by the time I found them in Katie O'Brien's in the Irish Bar, they were well oiled up, as you can expect. Steaming indeed. Right, well, lads, we'll just dive straight into it. This episode is going to be all about the match against Arsenal and all about the Carabao Cup. And at the end, we might have a little chat about a cup final in London to see what we're thinking about what's happening there. Alan, let's just start off really. The team that came out, and we were all obviously there over in St. James's Park. Before the game, we were in the Canny Lad. And the usual story, an hour before kickoff, about 7 p.m., after about 7 points, we got the team sheet, and it caught me by. So I was there with Barry. Shout out to Barry. He's one of the Irish mags from Kilkenny, South Kilkenny, I'm told, because that's a thing. We were staring at it for about 30 or 40 seconds, trying to figure out who would replace Joe Linton when nobody really had replaced Joe Linton. What was your reaction to the team sheet?
My reaction was, oh dear God, we're gone 5 at the back. We're going to sit back and let this Arsenal team come at us. And that just proves why I am a fan and Eddie Howe is sitting in the dugout, because tactical masterclass is all I'm going to say about that lineup. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Alan, you and me are big Football Manager fans.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a new game is due to come out at some point, hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
They're going to need to create a new centre-back role called a roaming pressing centre-back, because that's what Fabian Schär was in this game.
Fabian Schär did it in the second half, but Dan Burn was doing it in the first half.
He was.
I turned around, and actually to Christian, I was like, Christian, Dan Burn is starting to press. And he's like, no, he's not. And he's like, he is. And the two of us kind of looked at each other and we're like, what the hell is Dan Burn, our first player forward? It worked.
It worked.
Arsenal could not get to grips with that press. Having 4 players pressing their back line every single time, they had nowhere to go. It worked 100% of the time, and it was the first time that I've seen us make a change tactically to try stifle an opposition where it's worked to a T for the whole game. And I have to say, Eddie got that to a man, the 11, 100% right. It was unbelievable.
It was spot on. I mean, it was like Alan was saying, that 4 pressing. It was 52,004 pressing. Every time Arsenal touched the ball, the whole stadium just came in on top of them. Like it was like a Roman times, the gladiators. Basically just had them rattled right from the second. But Dan Burn playing as a 10, I love it. Because like Alan was saying, I was just a bit kind of, when we're looking at the team sheet, I was just kind of like, hang on a second. Is that 5 at the back, or is Hall going to play left back, or is Byrne playing? Oh, hang on, is Byrne playing left back? Oh no, maybe Hall's going to play in midfield. Nope. Well, then he did. So when Byrne or Schär went up into midfield, they just split across to a back 4. It was so delicious. Arsenal didn't know what to do. Thomas Partey didn't have time on the ball. Rice didn't have time on the ball. They just didn't have any time on the ball. And Havertz, essentially for a 6'4", athletic man, was basically just rolling around like a baby. Yeah. From minute one, he wasn't gonna get anywhere. So it was a bit kind of confusing initially, but Al calmed us all down, and just kind of outlined what it was. It was a very, very fluid 3-4-3, 4-3-3, 5-4-1, 5-3-2.
Yeah,
all just happening, and it's like as if they like you said, Al. It was one time I saw Newcastle. Every single player knew exactly what they had to do for 98 minutes, and they got it spot on. Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people felt it was risky because, I mean, I was the same.
not so much that we couldn't go and do this as a tactic, but we just hadn't done it all season, like starting a game. Didn't seem to bother Eddie Howe, obviously. And the main concern I had was like, okay, maybe Tonali's going to have to kind of just follow Odegaard around because he's probably the danger man. And then I just thought that might just leave a gap in midfield with only Bruno there. But as we said, with the three centre backs, and then kind of Hall was able to get in a bit narrow when needed. Trippier was moving over and back as well. We just managed to shut everything out. I thought Sven Botman was unbelievable for the 70 or however many minutes he played.
Phenomenal.
But lads, by a mile for me, man of the match, and it just felt so good to say it. Kieran Trippier, was brilliant, great. That was a big call to start Trippier ahead of Tino after playing Tino basically all season, Alan. But what a call! Leadership, shithousery, and ultimately just his quality on and off the ball defensively and going forward. Brilliant.
He was brought back in for what he does going forward, but his man management and leadership on the pitch is such a massive, massive plus for him. Just when he had Gabriel rattled, when he was chasing him down, Gabriel threw himself to the floor, got the free kick, but he just, everything that Trippier done worked. It was like Trippier of 2 seasons ago where he was stepping into the midfield, he was dictating performances, dictating play. Everything went through him. And it went well. And it was great to see him back to his best, especially with those tentative links to Galatasaray and other Turkish clubs, which I can't see happening. But yeah, it was great to see Trips back to his best because it's been a long time coming, unfortunately.
Yeah, agreed.
Fully agree.
The first real kind of buoyant highlight of the night was Gabriel getting up and him getting into it with him, kind of giving each other, and really got the crowd going. Go on, Trips, get stuck into him, and kind of like the whole team get into them. And the last touch of the ball was Trips, Trippier knocking over Havertz again with a little brush of his finger, and just exhausted. You could see how exhausted he was at the end of the game. He put literally the last 2 years behind him in just one game. Everything he's ever done in his whole career went into that game, and it's a major plus for us to have somebody like that and so experienced to bring in. Big call, but my God, did he play well? Him or Murphy, man of the match, but definitely I think Trippier, because I'm starting to kind of think Murphy's the best. If I was a little bit younger, I might have a poster of Murphy in my room. Murphy's great. He's just great.
Adam, will you get Chris some Jacob Murphy pajamas there for himself? That'll keep him happy for you.
Yes. I showed Chris a message I sent to my mates that are not Newcastle fans, but it was Lionel Messi watches Jacob Murphy highlights on YouTube. After he scored the goal.
So good.
I love them.
I mean, his numbers this season are actually phenomenal, and he deserves, if not a song, he deserves a War Fags play or a song or something, because he's having a great season. Fair play to him. It just felt like everything clicked in the game. Now, lads, Arsenal have lost 5 games this season. 4 of them domestically, I think, and 1 in the Champions League. 3 of the 5 that they've lost have been against Newcastle, in which they have not scored.
Yes.
Oh, it's delicious.
1-0, 2-0, and 2-0. Whatever it is, Eddie Howe has their number. We have their number. They hate playing us. They hate coming to St. James's Park, obviously. Tactically, physically, mentally. And it's just so satisfying because Mikel Arteta is an absolute knob.
He's
I've
a
said
lemon.
it before and I'll say it again.
Yeah, he's constantly sucking a lemon on the sideline. He's a clown.
I was bumped into a couple of Arsenal fans outside the pub before the game. And they were sound enough, lads, in fairness. But we were like, look, Arsenal, a good team. Your manager's a dick. And one of them was kind of like nodding, and the other guy was like, no, it's good for us. It gives us an edge. I was like, he just never stops moaning and whinging, and it's almost embarrassing. And you can never admit when you don't play well. I don't know. Anyway, redemption came because, lads, this is just the moment of the day over there. So I was sitting in the Milburn stand, down where the first goal was scored, where Isak was offside and then Murphy scored, basically in line with the penalty spot. And I could hear this chant coming from the far side of the Gallowgate. And this chant, you could actually feel it making its way across the crowd, through the crowd. And people were listening to it. It's not a chant you hear every week in St. James's Park. And then people were listening to it to get the words. And as soon as they got the line, everyone was singing it. And by the time it reached us, the whole stadium is singing, Mikel Arteta, it must be the ball. It must be the ball. It must be the ball. And I literally mean to say, lads, 40,000, 50,000 people singing this. And Arteta was standing up at the time on the touchline. And by the time we got to like the last rendition of it, he went and sat down.
Ah.
And then it really quickly flipped to Mikel Arteta. He's crying again. He's crying again. So
Love
I
it.
tell you what, he's rattled. And apparently, obviously didn't notice this because I was there, but apparently he or anyone from Arsenal didn't or wouldn't come out to speak to whoever it was, TNT or Sky or whoever.
Yeah, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Or if he did, it was like quite late or something.
If you saw
was very
post-match,
delayed.
yeah, did you see his post-match press conference, Alan? He was like a spoiled child. His answers were really curt, really short. He was like, yeah, no, is this over? Yeah, kind of way. He couldn't wait to get out of there.
He blamed the fact that we had an extra 24 hours on the result. An extra 24 hours of rest. And I'm just going, like, just admit you've got played off the park over 180 minutes. He's woeful. He's getting into the realms of Klopp territory for stupid excuses. Klopp nearly got to the point where he was funny with his excuses, blaming witches and everything else. But Arteta is just getting to the fact now where you're like, just say you weren't good enough. That's the one thing I like about Eddie Howe. If we're bad, he'll come out and go, you're shit. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's not always looking to blame a ref or blame a decision or blame conditions or blame injuries. He can never admit when they just haven't played well.
Look, this is from an Arsenal fan, right? Real quick, right? Newcastle, well deserved. Eddie Howe just knows how to tactically disrupt our defense, and when that happens, and it's not very often, we fall apart completely as a football team. You've got Isak, we've got Havertz. There's no comparison. Is he even a professional footballer? He can't kick a ball, falls to the floor with any sort of contact, looking for something. It's a disgrace. The team are a disgrace this season. And I mean, this is a guy who supported Arsenal since he was like 2. He wouldn't even speak on the phone. He just texted and said, I'm going to bed. I can't watch this team anymore. I was like, ouch. I'm not. I'm going to drink another one.
And they're not look, it's a bit of it's extreme to say the team who's second in the league are a bad team this season, right? But again, that's maybe collective Arsenal mentality thing that Arteta has almost enabled within the fan base. But I think the reality of it is they don't take adversity very well when anything goes against them. And mentally as a team, they almost let that overrule what normally should be just good football that they can play. So, but I don't give a shit because we beat them. We beat them twice. We've beaten them 3 times. And it's us going through to the final. But lads, the slight downside, I'm looking at my other screen here. Liverpool 4, Tottenham 0.
4?
On 80 minutes.
Oh, Christ.
So it's safe to say on the 16th of March, Sunday, the Sunday before Paddy's Day, bank holiday, Newcastle versus Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. And we'll come to that in a moment. I just want to touch on a couple more performances, lads, on the pitch. We've talked a lot about the defence there. I actually thought Dubravka did really well when he was called upon to.
Good saves.
There was one save. I don't know who it was from, but he got down really quickly. It was just after we went 1-0 up as well. Yeah. It was a massive, massive save. Absolutely outstanding. And he has to do an awful lot wrong for Pope to get back into that goal.
I agree.
100%. It's him all the way. John Anderson nearly had. You should hear the commentary on the Newcastle YouTube channel. He goes, "Oh, you should hear it." It's like Gary Neville, Barcelona-esque. But that was that. Honestly, for a 34-year-old man, my God, he was like lightning last night. They were all on it, right? Once Dubravka did that, they're all high-fiving each other, slapping each other, really into it. Like I've never seen it so cohesive. Like PSG was the last time I really saw it like that. Where the crowd and
the guys I was sat beside in the stadium, they said the last time that felt like this in terms of atmosphere was the PSG game as well. So that just kind of shows you the levels. Moving up the field then, I suppose, just looking like the most obvious thing to say, this defense, as good as these defenders are, Saliba and Gabriel, arguably the best centre-back pairing in the league, they just can't handle Alexander Isak. They just don't know what to do with him. Even his just presence being there bothers them. And then he starts moving. He starts making his runs. He's going deep. He's going left. He's going right. He's going off the shoulder. But what I really liked on a couple of occasions was obviously everybody knows about this link up with Murphy and Isak scoring goals and assists. But Gordon and Isak actually clicked very well, I thought, in that game.
Yes.
Just these kind of 1-2 flicks that are almost telepathic. And particularly the one that led to the first goal, the actual goal that counted. I think it was Isak. I think it was Dubravka to the long ball. Isak kind of took it into him, lays it off to Gordon, and Gordon just
on that goal.
He knew he was going for it.
Goal. Isak does so well there. So if you actually watch what Isak, so it's Dubravka lumps the long ball forward. What Isak does at the very start of it, he gets right in front of Saliba, backs into him, and then pulls off behind him as if he's going to go spin in behind. And as Saliba goes to try win the ball, he comes back from the side, sticks his toe out, flicks the ball around to Gordon, continues to run, and Gordon just straight into his path. And the touch for it to kill that ball, he kills it on his thigh, but it doesn't break stride. You could give any footballer 100 goals of that, and 90% of them are going to end up stumbling over the ball straight into a stride, gets an unbelievable strike away. And Jacob Murphy's on hand to tap in.
And I believe it was that strike was off his left because obviously Isak scores a goal, the first goal that goes in, and it's ruled offside.
Yes,
a lengthy VAR check, and obviously we're sitting there in the stadium with no idea what's going on. It happened in my eye line. I actually thought he was onside, and obviously it was close enough that it went on so long. I need to watch it back again.
He was offside by he was offside by a toenail. Let's be honest.
Literally like. But he struck that first goal off his right, and then the second one he smashes the post off his left. And then just to touch on the finish, that ball was flying out off the bar.
Yeah.
There was spin on the ball.
Yeah.
And Murphy had to just kind of
guide it.
Obviously he had to finish it, but he had to guide it. He had to take the spin and not just skew it over the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually a really, really good finish.
Yeah, watch the goal back. Everybody watch the goal back and see how quick Murphy moves his feet to reposition himself. It's actually technically very impressive. I mean, if that was Miggy Almiron, I don't think he would have got to that.
First one because it's right foot.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the right foot. And then we were just talking about Dubravka being solid, and Dubravka, like the thing I like about Dubravka is, yes, he's good in the ball with his feet. He doesn't over rely on it. He'll send it long when he has to. The other goalkeeper, on the other hand, David Raya, he did what in technical football terms can only be classified as making an absolute balls of it.
Yes.
And you could see it happening. Like we love this high press.
Yeah.
And when we switch it on, it's a nightmare for the opposition. And Arsenal were almost so stubborn and overly confident in their ability to play the ball out that at no point was David Raya thinking, I'm not going to try and play this
arrogance.
Kicking it long was never in his mind. And he's given an absolute suicide ball. I think was it going to Partey?
Rice.
And then, as we said, our roaming pressing centre back Fabian Schär appears out of nowhere, dispossesses him straight away, and Anthony Gordon just taps it in.
Yeah,
like it was so satisfying in the stadium. I didn't know whether to celebrate and shout or just start laughing, and I actually ended up laughing at the end of it.
Unreal.
It is. I mean,
the game kind of fizzled out a little bit after that, to be honest with you, because it's like as if the whole energy of the stadium were like, "Oh God, we've done it." Because even in the Bleecker Street, like we were kind of like more chatting about going to London, what we're going to do. We get to London, who we're going to get. Not to say we weren't watching the match or anything, but it was just kind of Arsenal kind of huffed and puffed. And it was kind of like, try your best there.
It just became comfortable,
Yeah, it became very, very comfortable. And I think that's what would have really hurt them. No mind about losing or going out, but the fact that they really huffed and puffed and got nowhere. Even to try to get back.
And we were talking about some stats before we hit record. Like Arsenal had 68% possession.
Yep.
I did absolutely nothing with it.
It's 68% possession and 2 big chances. We had 22% possession or 32% possession and 3 big chances. That just shows they did nothing with all their. Jose Mourinho said it best. They can bring that ball home and we'll take 3 points. We're going to Wembley. They can keep the ball if they want. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, the key statistic where throughout the whole game, right? If you look at it, if you go to duels, so we won way more duels than them. We won the ground duels, 53%, 55% the aerial duels. So bringing in the lads, Eddie Howe talked about a post-match about bringing in height to stop like Stoke City 2.0, getting corners and everything else. And it worked because when the ball went into the midfield, Raya was kicking it out or they were trying to do a long ball. We had Byrne, Botman, We had everybody. Even Bruno looked about 7 foot tall yesterday. So
Trippier won an aerial battle at one point.
Yeah.
What's happening here? What did these lads have for breakfast?
So it kind of forced them. It kind of forced them to play out. So we just squeezed them. They had nowhere to go. They didn't know what to do.
That was brilliant. It was, you know, it's brilliant performance, and I think when you bring the two results together, that's up there with one of Eddie Howe's best victories.
Yes.
In his 3 years there, there's been some massive wins and results. Obviously, you know, beating Spurs 6-1 and beating PSG and hammering Sheffield United, but to beat Arsenal 4-0 on aggregate, Carabao Cup semi-final, especially beating 2-0 in their place, that's a good Arsenal team. I don't know, like, they're shit against us, but they're good against a lot of other teams. And they've only lost to 2 other teams this season, which is insane, really.
I mean, it's the same team that bit Man City 5-1.
Yeah,
they've come up. They've come up the road to us. They've come up the road to us, and we've made them look like a championship side.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
It's a dream.
But hopefully, we can do the same against Liverpool, even though they'll probably be slightly different force to be reckoned with. Before we talk a bit about that, lads, I wanted to just throw one other name at you. Callum Wilson played football for Newcastle last night. Didn't play too many minutes, but he came on, and you know, it was nice to see him back. I don't know how long it's going to last. He gets a lot of grief. Not his fault that he keeps picking up these injuries. But Alan would it was good to see him come on, and it'd be nice to think he's an option.
Nice to see him back. It is. It gives us another option off the bench. But I think it was a little bit harsh on Will Osula.
Yeah,
the man has played a couple of games in the cup so far. Wilson has done very, very, very little for us this season. So I just thought that as soon as he was back fit, he's back in the team and coming straight on. I was like, a bit harsh on Willisilla, but it was nice to see him get back on the pitch. And I'll say something now. I wouldn't be surprised to see us offer him a 1-year extension, but catch in on him after the 1-year extension so that we get some sort of fee for him. I just his time at Newcastle has to be over, unfortunately.
What age is he?
31-ish.
31? We could get we could get 10 million for him, could we?
You get 5 million from him, you say nothing.
He's 32 and he's 33 at the end of February, so he's going on 33.
Oh, yeah. So,
I mean, the thing is, if he stays fit for the rest of the season, he'll score a few goals between now and the end of the season. If we're going to go and play Liverpool in the final, if we're going to advance in the FA Cup, if we're going to put a bit of a chase on for this Champions League, Isak can't play 90 minutes in all these games.
No.
Osula, I would imagine Osula probably starts against Birmingham because Wilson won't be able to start. And I'd be surprised if he starts Isak because Isak could do it.
I wouldn't even bring Isak.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, great to see. And look, just an unbelievable win, lads. And I'll say it again. Fuck Mikel Arteta. That's
yeah. I look at it like we are the Irish Mags podcast. We represent all you guys. Thanks for everybody coming down and joining us for the match. It was absolutely fantastic. People watching the match and then kind of realizing, and shout out to Luke, and thinking I should go into the bleaker. So he gets in his car, drives from Kildare, and turns up 10 minutes into the game. Lads, I couldn't have missed it. And he jumps in with a lot of us. It was so just thanks to everybody for coming down because. I can't wait to see 100 plus of us flying over because I've got my flights. I know Al has, so let's all just get over to London.
I've booked them as well. I'm not going to lie.
But hang on, we don't have Trafalgar Square. So where are we all going to meet up? That's what I
will go down to the Palace.
Yeah, anywhere. Yeah. Charles is inviting the Irish magazine.
Charles and Camilla they'd be only delighted to have us down the Maldives. Yeah, can you imagine? The other thing then I was going to say as well on that note, we had some amount of Irish mags traveling as well. I couldn't believe it. So obviously all the Cork lads went early in the day and they were gone via Edinburgh. But when I turned up in Dublin, I thought it'd be 10 or 15. There was easily 50 Newcastle fans on a flight, about 40 of which were all from the Irish Mags group. And we brought some more in who obviously didn't know the group. So it was just a massive group traveling. We tried to get a group photo, but there was just too many people to get together. So we ended up So the numbers were unreal. The train was wedged full of us. The pubs stacked, the whole lot. Absolutely unbelievable evening. And I'd say there's a few shook and sick heads today. But I'm not one of them because I'm hardcore.
To be fair to one of the lads, Shane, I think Paul said, who was woken up for his flight home this morning and said, no, I'm staying, and that was the end of it.
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Fair play to him.
He said right.
Well,
Right,
Paul, you look like you climbed out of a drunk tank with the photograph you sent us with your shades on the train. It was like
I was just having a moment of reflection. As you do. Myself and Chris Regan both got the train up to Edinburgh. It's a lovely little train ride. It goes up by the coast. It's
nice. It is nice.
It is nice. Okay, so Birmingham at the weekend. Really quickly, Alan, while we're not going to go into too much detail on the Birmingham game, we expect to see a lot of rotation. But meetups for Birmingham.
Meetups, exactly. Plural. So obviously we have meetup in the Bleaker, as we always do. We have a meetup in Cork, which is in Quinlan's in Blackpool in Cork. And if you just bear with me 1 second, I can tell you.
Are we Sligo, I think?
Yes, we are Sligo, and I'm just trying to see the name of the bar in Sligo because I'm useless. I cannot find.
And I literally spoke to Chris about it.
Yes, I cannot find the name of the bar.
Gracie's Bar.
Yes.
Gracie's Bar in Sligo. Yes.
So keep an eye on all our socials. I promise you I will actually remember that place next time, but we will get locations. Everything will be up online for that. So if you're in and around Cork, Sligo, or Dublin, get yourself into one of our meetups, because the more the merrier. A great night last night. We're going to have another great night now come Saturday. And it should be a good one.
Ideal. And we're actually looking at doing a Galway meetup for the Man City game the week after. So it's another thing to keep an eye out for. If anybody wants to spin to Galway, I highly recommend. I'll welcome you all to Galway, lads. Seeing as I am the Lord Mayor of Galway, apparently. Okay. Before we wrap up this week's show, I have to talk a little bit now about this final, because Newcastle United are going to Wembley. Chris, you got to go and get your suit measured. And we're going to be playing Liverpool. The game has just finished. It's full time in Anfield. Liverpool 4, Tottenham 0. So we're going to play Liverpool in the final. Alan, we don't have a wonderful record against Liverpool, but cup final's a different story.
Well, I would just like you all to cast your mind back to the start of the season when we did our predictions. And I predicted we would win the Carabao Cup.
You did.
But I went a step further. I did say we'd beat Liverpool in the final of the Carabao Cup. So I'm not stepping back from my prediction now. And I'm in a group chat with 2 Liverpool fans. And last week I said to them, don't worry, it'll hockey Spurs 4-0. It'll go to Wembley, where yous will absolutely batter us and we will stink a 1-0 win. And that's exactly how it's going to go. We are winning the Carabao Cup.
Mystic Mac.
Happening. And Alex Isak gets the goal that wins it. And it's going to be another 25-yard absolute ping into the top corner. That's it.
Wow. Mystic Mac.
Yeah.
Woofed.
And I'm just having a look now. It all, obviously when we don't have things like Europe to worry about, and they do, and they will.
Yes.
I'm not sure when those because obviously there's playoff games to take place in the Champions League first. I'm not sure what dates those Champions League fixtures might happen, but it would be lovely to think.
I think it's one before, one after.
Before and after.
I think it is.
I'm literally on the UEFA website here trying to find out.
If things go the way Newcastle want them to, it's potentially Real Madrid that Liverpool play.
I see.
Yes,
I'm just looking at it here now.
Yeah, Liverpool are playing Southampton on the 8th of March. They're playing Villa away on the 15th.
It looks like the second leg would be the week of the 11th of March, which is the week of the cup final.
Week of it, yes.
So all going well, they get a horrendous draw and they have to do a lot of running and a lot of hard work, because you have to factor these things in. It's important. So fingers crossed.
The other thing is, we play West Ham on the Monday of that week as well. So we have it's not a short space of time, but we only have 5 days or 6 days in between playing on the Monday night. And again, Monday night football in London, when there's no trains back for Newcastle fans, Sky as usual, always thinking of the fans, absolutely just sick of it. Just
like when they rescheduled that Bournemouth game in Newcastle, so the poor Bournemouth fans had to travel at 2 a.m. on the Friday night to make a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday in the longest trip in England in the Premier
But they
League.
did that to us as well. We played Bournemouth in Bournemouth at half 12 as well. So it was like,
Ridiculous.
you didn't learn from being dickheads to the Newcastle fans. You did it to Bournemouth as well. I'd be a fan of scrapping the half 12 Saturday game and bringing in 8 p.m. Saturday game instead of it. I just think that'd be
Yeah, agreed. I mean, look,
or just maybe have some common sense and go, let's just leave this game at a reasonable time because people have to travel the entire length of a country.
Yeah,
I think we all know that Sky Sports has a bit of a problem at Newcastle. Let's be clear here. There's a bit of a small agenda, possibly, but we won't go into it. Two things: Liverpool, Lewis Hall has to have the game of his life so far. I know he's only a young lad, but the game of his literal life against Mo Salah. Trips has to start. And sorry, Tino, but Trips has to start. And thirdly, sorry, let's all forget about 1974 FA Cup final, because Liverpool walked all over Newcastle that day, like literally.
That's the reason I'm a Newcastle fan. That game is.
Yeah, I mean, like, try watch it back. We had one of the best strikers in England, but he didn't get anywhere near anything. He didn't get a touch, sniff of anything. So that's for all our older fans.
It's only 50 years ago, but we do live in the past. But the last time we won a major trophy was actually before that. So that's where we are in reality. And just to finish it up, lads, I hope, what we're looking at here is Liverpool, leading the Premier League race. They're going to be in the last 16 of the Champions League, whatever's going on in the FA Cup. Hopefully this is number 4 on their priority list, because it's going to be number 1 on ours when we get up to that week.
If you want to win the cup, you have to beat the best. And unfortunately, at the moment, Liverpool are the best. We have to beat them. That's the end of it.
True that. And look, as you said, fit Callum Wilson will help. Harvey Barnes might even be back if we can keep all the lads fit. Joe Linton comes back into it as well.
We can't underperform like we did against Manchester United. It's like as if the lads built themselves up so much that they nearly used all of their energy, like thinking and dreaming, look, we're going to be legends and stuff. And it was just a flat performance, and having Karius and goal. But with Lightning Dubravka back to his best when he signed for us, and the team we have now, and the literal just desire to win something, I really do believe, Al, and I think you're right. I think personally it's going to go to penalties. It's going to be 2-2 and go to penalties, and we're going to win. But we're going to win anyway. That's all I'm calling. Al's calling it. Paul, what do you reckon?
It's too soon for predictions.
Come on.
It's way too soon. I feel like we've come a long way from the team that was there 2 years ago.
Yes.
I think obviously we've not added drastically to it, but you're looking at Tonali and the levels he's playing at the moment. Isak levels are way better since Gordon. Botman being back in the squad is brilliant too. We've got, whether it's Hall and Livramento or Hall and Trippier, got some cracking fullback options. I think we're a lot better than we were against Manchester United.
Yeah.
So I do think we'll win it, but I couldn't even go close to a score until probably close to the time.
Well, sure, we'll all be there. We'll all be there in London.
We'll all be there we'll all be there in the Palace watching it with Charles and Camilla.
Yeah.
Having a great time. Up the Irish Mags.
Hey.
Right, well, on that wonderful royal note that I did not expect us to get to on this week's podcast, I think we could leave it there for another week. As usual, keep an eye on all the Irish Mag socials for details on the meetups and all the latest crack. We will have some cup-inspired blog articles on the website written by none other than Mr. Chris Martin here on the show. That will be on the irishmags.com, where you'll find all of our latest content, updates, and more importantly, photographs of all of the traveling mags and of all the meetups that are happening across Ireland and beyond. Any other news items to touch on, boys, before we drop off?
Just one more. Keep an eye on magsmerch.com, because we will have a new line of apparel, shall we say, dropping in line for this Carabao Cup final. It's all I can say at the minute, because I haven't confirmed anything yet, so I don't know myself.
Alan in with the merch exclusive. Loves a bit of swag, does Alan?
I'm actually drunk again, and I've only had half a pint of Guinness, so that just shows you how. That just shows you how much I had last night. Woo!
What does Homer say, Chris? Show this time I'm drunk on love and beer. That's how you're feeling, right? Well, we'll be back next week for more Irish madness. Hopefully, another cup victory against Birmingham. hopefully routine as well. Fingers crossed. So until then, we shall say, how are the lads? Slán, Guffle. We'll see you all very soon. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Slán away.
Slán agus sláinte.
How are the lads? We're going to Wembley. I'm off to get my suit measured.
Tell everyone's man.